Hello, this is Latricia Renee. Welcome back to my channel. Today we have another 3 marker challenge. However, this time it is actually a blind challenge, whereas last time I consciously chose the colors. This time I drew randomly and I drew a picture based off of which markers that I picked. So the markers that I ended up with are G5, which is emerald green, Y13 lemon yellow, and E50 eggshell. Now my camera's not really focusing here, so you can't really see the markers too well, but I'll also leave the names in the description below. For my image, I am also using the colorless blender once again, and I'm going to line it with the Copic Multiliner 0.3 in olive. First thing you see me doing here is I'm actually marking out a couple of places where I have things either overlapping or branching off of each other. This is actually the second time that I did this inking. The first time I did, unfortunately, completely mess it up with what I was trying to do because I wasn't really paying attention to the original plan, and I just kept going and I ended up drawing over things I wasn't supposed to. You can see here the faint yellow. That's not actually the original sketch. What I usually do is after I do a sketch, I will scan it into the computer to kind of clean it up, and then I will lighten it and print it out very faintly onto the paper that I want to have the finished piece on. I did yellow for this under sketch because the image was going to be predominantly yellow and green, and that way it would kind of fade into the image and you wouldn't see it. So I chose the Copic Multiliner olive because I didn't want to go anything too dark, and I thought it fit the colors that I chose pretty well. The concept for this image came purely from the colors that I drew. Right after I drew the colors, I did try playing around with them, seeing how they blended and how they looked together, and they did not really blend together very well because the yellow is really light and the green it's a medium tone, but it's still fairly dark, so they didn't really blend together very well at all. But then I tried, with that concept of maybe using the yellow as a darker shade for the E50, which is kind of a skin tone, and that's when it kind of struck me, the idea of, it reminded me of when you're a kid and the sort of mythos of the Buttercup, where you hold it up to your chin and if it glows yellow it means you like butter, and that's what it reminded me of. So I had this idea of a figure with a buttercup and their face would be illuminated by that yellow. It worked really well too if I was going to do flowers, because then I wouldn't have to worry so much about blending the yellow and the green. They could be sort of their own separate areas. Before doing the sketch, I decided to do a little bit of research on it to find out more about buttercups. I looked up things like their flower meaning, which for buttercups it means joy and childishness, youth and innocence, that sort of thing, which I think fits well enough into the image. While doing my research, I did find a myth tied to the genus name Ranunculus, I believe is how I pronounce that I really liked. There was a beautiful prince with the loveliest voice who would wander the countryside singing to the nymphs. Eventually he fell in love with one of the nymphs, but was too scared to ever express his true feelings. Eventually he withered away, dying of a broken heart. But after his death, his body transformed into the buttercup, and it was named Ranunculus after him. I didn't really base my drawing off of this story, but it did sort of inspire it, I think, in her expression. It does look like she's singing to the flowers, which I thought was really nice. Another thing that you'll see me using throughout the piece is that same, I believe it's often referred to as the tip-to-tip blending technique. I used it in the last one where I would use the colorless blender along with the marker to lighten the color and fade it out to white. And this one I paint the tip of the yellow marker with the green marker to get sort of a lighter green color that I use for the center of the flowers as well as a bit of shading. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't think I really used the colorless blender much at all for this piece. So I guess it really was more of a 3-marker challenge. One thing that I would do different if I was going to redo this image is the way I arranged the colors. When I first did the sketch, I knew that I was going to have her have green hair because the way that the yellow and the green weren't really blending together, I thought if she had green hair with yellow highlights, I wouldn't really need to blend all that well because of the texture of her hair. However, I didn't really think about it too much when I was arranging the elements of the picture, and because of that, the stems of the buttercups I feel like get kind of lost in her green hair. So if I was going to go back and change things, I would either try to arrange it so that the stems weren't up against her green hair so much, or I would change the colors around so that they didn't blend together so much. Now, although I did have a lot of difficulty getting the green to blend with the other colors, one really nice thing about it is that it does build up with itself very nicely. So as I'm doing the hair, you know, the first layer or so that I do, sort of that nice mid-tone, but then I was able to go in and go over the same spot over and over again to kind of build up depth and darken and shade certain areas. So that I did really like. Next time I do a full marker piece, I definitely want to work on a smaller size. When I was coloring in the skin, I noticed that it was kind of streaky. I mean, I haven't even used this marker very much, and it was kind of acting like it was running low, and I think it's just because the area that I was trying to color in was so large. So I am planning on a couple of illustrations that will be mostly marker. So I've decided to sort of scale them down to about half a page instead, and we'll see how that works. All in all, I'm pretty happy with the way my very first blind 3-marker challenge worked out. I'm really excited to keep doing blind 3 challenges in the future. Getting the colors and then coming up with an idea that works around those colors was actually very inspiring. So I really recommend it for people who, you know, you got artist's block or whatever, you just can't think of what to draw that day. Pick 3 colors and try to come up with the color surrounding that. I think it's a really good way to get you to practice drawing, if nothing else. Next time I do this, however, I'm definitely going to be using some sort of app or something to pick my colors because I did not really like having to dump out all of my markers and then mix them all up and have to put them away. So, lesson learned for next time. Well, that's about it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to see more from me, don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave me some comments down below about what you think.